I'm Sunny. I spent my McGill Lawrence internship in Taiwan with an NGO called Teach for Taiwan. Now, you're looking at the biggest takeaway of my summer internship, the scooter. Just kidding. But I did spend a lot of time on this scooter and traveled the distance that could probably tour the entire island for 3 or 4 times. I was always with the luggage, always on the move. You see, Taidong and Tainan are the two counties where schools partnering with Teach for Taiwan locate. So I had to visit there several times to interview the principals and teachers. But believe it or not, there is actually no direct route connecting the two counties. So the easiest way is actually to go all the way back up to Taipei and then down to Tainan and vice versa. Teach for Taiwan is an organization following the same model as Teach for America. It was established only last year in 2013 and it has just sent out its first cohort of teachers this fall. Knowing that there is a shortage of teacher supply in rural schools in Taiwan, it trains and sends recent grads to these schools for 2 years, seeking to provide an excellent education to all children in Taiwan. You might wonder, is education inequality a real issue in Taiwan? The answer is yes, most definitely. As with disadvantaged kids in the States, kids in rural schools here suffer from both low teacher supply and high teacher turnover rate. Many students start the semester without a teacher until weeks after, and most cry out to teachers they like at the end of the year, asking, "Are you ever coming back?" However, the intriguing fact is that Taiwan actually has an overabundance of certified teachers. Due to recent trends of low birth rate and tight government budget, you could see that the number of official teachers hired has gone down from 13,000 to 1,200 from 2001 to 2010. Instead of offering official teaching positions, the government increased temporary positions to fill the lower demand. This creates a predicament for rural schools. Factors such as distance, inconvenience, and cultural differences already disadvantage their teacher supply. The uncertainty and significantly lowered salary associated with temporary positions only further exacerbate the problem. As a result, many teachers would rather remain unemployed than teach at a rural school. Precisely because of the counterintuitive situation, the problem of insufficient teacher supply is rarely paid attention to and understood. Even staffs in Teach for Taiwan themselves knew little about the conditions in the 8 schools they contract with. So part of my internship involved interviewing principals and teachers in these schools to obtain more in-depth qualitative information on their overall conditions. I interviewed 15 principals and teachers in total, and yes, I transcribed all of the 20 hours or so interviews. It took me 1.5 weeks to do the transcription alone, and here I thought I got that over with after thesis. Well, at least the incoming teachers found these background info useful before their entrance into the communities. Interviewing these people did much more than confirming the fact that these schools have difficulty finding teachers. It further revealed deeper issues such as unstable socioeconomic family conditions, significant overload of work for current teachers, and the lack of cultural stimulation and suitable curriculum for rural kids. But getting these data and information wasn't the best part of the experience of traveling down to Taidong and Tainan. More importantly, through this interview process, I got to meet a lot of people that I've never been in touch with before in Taiwan. People struggling at the bottom level, working blue-collar jobs. By chance, I stayed with a student family in Tainan for a few days when I went there for interviews. The dad drives a gravel truck and often works at night. The uncle used to deal with gangs and had gone to prison for a few years, and the aunt currently works in the prostitution industry. This description is usually enough to raise a red flag. However, my stay with them allowed me to hear their stories and to realize that they are also hardworking people who try to live by their principles. I was then forced to come face to face with my own stereotypes about these people. Chewing betel nuts doesn't automatically mean that they're bad. Working in shading industries doesn't always mean that they're shady and dangerous. And having an unstable family income and a difficult situation doesn't mean they don't care about their kids' education. My initial alertness gradually became gratefulness as I learned more about them and myself. Aside from the internal challenge of realizing my biased perspective, I also encountered external challenge throughout the interview experience. As I tried to observe an indigenous community near a school in Taidong, my eagerness generated some pushback and even rejection from the members. Though it upset me for a while, I also learned to take it slow when it comes to entering a community. All of these experiences became very useful in a conference with Teach for All representatives. At the time in mid-July, Taiwan has not yet joined the global network, so two of them came over to evaluate both Teach for Taiwan's operation and the conditions of education inequality in Taiwan. I participated in the meeting and was able to provide first-hand accounts of those conditions. I then spent the second half of my summer internship assisting the operation of the 5-week summer intensive training. With little or no background in education, the incoming teachers need to be well equipped with useful tools to be ready for the job, so lessons usually start around 8 a.m. and go until 9 p.m. I participated in almost the whole training and documented the lessons. This gave me a wonderful opportunity to meet and build relationship with the amazing staff members and incoming teachers. I had never expected to meet so many people so passionate about education, who dare to dream about changing Taiwan. I was often moved to tears by their determination and courage, but they somehow also managed to combine these qualities with ridiculous goofiness. Through documenting the lessons, I was able to learn from the experiences of ambitious and effective teachers and get a peek into the intricacies of the art of teaching. Most importantly, these lessons and inspiring teachers have revived my desire to be a teacher and affirmed my commitment to join Teacher America next year. Throughout the 5-week training, I also participated in the evaluation of the training curriculum with the program development team of Teach for Taiwan. This experience pushed me to think from the viewpoint of an NGO and to brainstorm for solutions to problems that I had barely thought about. All in all, it provided a really valuable insight into how a startup nonprofit is run. Over my 2-month internship, I've done a variety of things, learned a lot about rural schools, and seen some breathtaking sceneries. After all, people do say that Taitung is the last pure land in Taiwan. But the biggest takeaway from this whole experience is definitely the people. People living drastically different lives from mine, people fighting education inequality tirelessly, and people dreaming of changing education in Taiwan someday. I set out to learn about important educational issues in Taiwan and connect to education reformers here. And though the action plan differed a lot from what happened, I ended up accomplishing these two goals and much more. My heart was both challenged and touched, and my mind was filled with a different angle of thinking. I currently still volunteer for the organization, and I can't wait to embrace the challenge of being a math teacher in Indianapolis next year. Thank you.